If you're looking to scale up your business and you don't have a lot of money to spend, there's a growth hack that you might not be using yet. It's not something that AI can do for you. It's a different kind of growth hack. It's building an advisory council. Maybe that's something you thought about, or maybe you're like, what's an advisory council? Is that the same as a board? I'm going to break all that down for you today. In our Accelerator Express program, two of the women are building advisory councils after we talked about what it can do for you. They both have product businesses and have so many people who are cheering them on, who love what they're doing, and they just didn't think about formalizing it. So if that's the case for you too, you don't have to have a product business to do an advisory council. It could be some kind of a services business, but it's best if it's something that has a mission that kind of inspires people so that they want to get involved. And the inspiration could just be you're making wine and people love wine. That's one of our students in our Accelerator Express program. Another student in our program has a clothing line that's for kids with autism so that they don't have to have scratchy tags and things that bother them, zippers that are difficult to work with. So she has all the parents of kids with autism cheering her on, a lot of people to pull from for her advisory council. So here's the difference between a board and an advisory council. A board has fiduciary responsibility over your company. Let's say you were to get sued or, God forbid, go bankrupt. Your board would be legally and financially responsible. That's a big, big commitment. It also usually means frequent meetings and taking on a level of responsibility that people may not be ready for when they just are getting to know you, or maybe you don't have that much traction yet. So what can you do when you're not ready for a board? You can build an advisory council. And I highly recommend calling it a council and not an advisory board. You'll hear that term, advisory board, but that's a little complicated because that sounds like the board, which it's not. So call it an advisory council. And there's really 5 reasons to do it. It's very simple. The first reason is that you gain all these ambassadors. Suddenly you have people on your advisory council, whether it's 4 people or 8 people. I don't recommend going to 10 or 12. That's just a lot to manage. But now you have all these new ambassadors who are out there talking about your company, talking about being on your advisory council, and you're going to get new customers and new opportunities through that. The second reason is you can access talent that you can't afford right now. Maybe you'll bring somebody on who runs a PR firm. Maybe you'll bring on a lawyer. Maybe you'll bring on someone who had a long career in retail and now doesn't know what to do with all those contacts and can help make introductions for you. The third reason is this will be leads on future investors. If you have a product company, you've probably thought about raising money. And when you are ready to raise money, you'll need to know people who know people with money. So building an advisory council is a great way to start building those relationships with people who have means and do angel investing and maybe one day venture capital investing. The third reason, I think that was already 3. The fourth reason is to line up future board members. Remember I said board is a way bigger responsibility than advisory council. Well, this is a terrific way to get to know people, see how they operate, see if you're a good fit, and maybe one day they will become your board members. We've had multiple advisory councils at $1 Million Women, and many of our board members have come up through the advisory council and become members of the board. And then the last reason, the 5th reason, is it's great practice for you as a leader in managing up. One of the key skills you're going to need as you grow your business is management. In the early days, it's just you hustling, working super hard, doing all the jobs. Then you start to delegate. Soon you have a team. And one day you'll have investors, hopefully a board members. And so this advisory council gives you some practice. What do I need to present? What numbers do they want to know about? How do I share tough information? How do I get help when I need it? I'm a huge fan of the Helen Keller quote, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." And that is never more true than with your advisory council and perhaps one day your board. So if you're wondering, how do I get started? Or if you're like, okay, I'm sold, I want an advisory council. What do I do now, Julia? Here's what I told the women in my program. I would start with making a list of people who already support you and have skills that maybe you can't afford to bring on board. Then take a look at those people and see what kind of social media following do they have? Are they well known in their field? Maybe they're not a household name, but maybe they work somewhere like Patagonia or Target that has a big name, such that if you put them on the council, it might help you attract your next set of people. So look at who you already know who could be an advisory council member, and then whittle it down to people who have a good following or can on social media such that they can be good ambassadors, and or that they bring in contacts that you don't have since they're going to be your ambassadors. The second thing is to write up a quick email, don't overthink it, that says, I'm building an advisory council and I thought of you. It's going to be low commitment, high impact. That's what I always said to my advisors, and it really works because most people are overcommitted already. And if they think it's going to be a lot of meetings or talking to you once a week, they're going to say no. But if you say it's low time commitment, high impact, some people will consider joining. So write up that email and get the conversation started. If you start getting some traction with people, then you can do a one-page Word document or PDF, or maybe a hidden page on your website that describes what the advisory council is. Very simply, what does it mean to be on it? What's the mission of your company? What do you hope they'll do? How many meetings are there? Things like that. In our program, we share templates so that women don't have to make all that up from scratch, but it's probably easy to find things on the internet that you can model it after. And lastly, dream big. There may be people in your field or successful entrepreneurs who've built companies that you admire who may consider being on your advisory council. It can't hurt to ask, and it'll be great practice getting out of your comfort zone and just asking people to join you in building your company. I hope you'll consider doing this. It's not for everyone because you do have to dedicate time to it. You'll have to cultivate those relationships, but it really pays off in the long run. I can think of multiple investors who invested in my prior company, Little Pim, the one I built and sold, who came in through the advisory council, or introductions to retailers where we sold our product at Babies R Us and Toys R Us and Barnes & Noble and retailers across the country. So check it out. And you can also read my blog. I have a blog post about this at millionwomen.com so that you can get a little more granular about how you could build an advisory council. Good luck with your first advisory council. I know you'll do great. And thanks for joining me today. Until I see you next time, stay brave and go big.